Welcome to BMO Radio with your host, Eric Spencer, president of the Blackman's Option.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Aftershow of the previously recorded show with my man, Obi. This is the first time that we are trying this format. We had to do so because of the time constraints. Obi is actually 8 hours ahead of us, so we had to set it up to where we could have a conversation and be able to get that because he was unable to come on at the scheduled time because our normal time is 8:35 and it's probably 4 something in the morning. So we're experimenting with that format. That was a pre-recorded recording with Obi, and like I said in the video, I appreciate him coming out and sharing some things in his interview. It was very interesting to watch it in real time because some of the things that when I was talking to him, I didn't really pick up on until after I went back and I watched it again. This is normally the after show, but like I said, it's our first time doing this format. And I just probably want to give a couple of thoughts, a couple of things that stood out to me from that conversation. And then if anybody wants to come up, if they have any experience with Obi and his services or know him personally, you can come up and share your thoughts or opinions. Or if you have any questions, anything you want to chat about, come on up and we'll have a conversation. But that was a conversation that I haven't had a chance to really talk to Obi since 2021, November 2021. He was our tour guide for our event that we had in Rio de Janeiro. He went to us he actually took us to the Flamingo game. We went to 2 Flamingo games, and we also did the Favela tour. We did the Steps, Christ the Redeemer, and Sugarloaf Mountain. You know, just to hear Obi's story is very incredible and inspiring. For him to be able to teach himself how to speak English. And if you could tell through the interview, now he's learning how to speak German. So you're talking about a young man from the favela that was not destined to have any type of upward mobility except for being stuck in the favela and just being just that, stuck in the favela. Here in the States, we call it the trap. And he was able to move himself out of that situation and onto a better living experience as far as for himself. He met his wife through his business. He has this little boy who's 50 months. I told him we don't do that in the States. We don't do months. After 24 months, your ass is grown now. You getting years on. But just to hear his story and his mindset and how inspirational he was, and the fact that how inspirational we were to him. Because if you didn't see the part about him talking about them looking up to us, seeing us as black men that are traveling, that look like them, and letting them know mentally that they can do it. There were parts of the interview that were a little political. Didn't really want to get into that. I do have my personal opinion about some of the things that are happening in Brazil now that are not discussed in the travel movement. Everybody seems to be focused on just one thing without taking into account the entirety of the actual climate of the countries that you travel to, which I think is a very big no-no, because you may be in a place thinking it's one way and it come to find out that it's not what you think it is. So, but I'm going to leave that for another conversation. But tonight, like I said, this is the after show, and we just want to give thanks to Obi for the stuff that he's done. And he has done a tremendous amount of stuff for the Blackman's Option. He has. And the interview felt like we were just sitting in Copacabana and drinking some capaninas and just kind of talking and catching up, seeing what life is with him, how's life for us, and just how things are going. but I am truly happy for it. I do appreciate everyone that tuned in to the pre-recorded podcast, and I do thank everybody for tuning in and doing the things that we need from you, which is the support. That has been monumental. I just want to take the time to say it's very overwhelming to see the people supporting us. Like I said, we're pretty much on our own. We do our own thing. You know, we've already made our statements. We know who our founder is, and we don't want to get caught up in a lot of the BS that comes to us black men in the matrix. We're all like Obi. We're looking for ways to get out and to live our best life and to leave the haters behind. You know, there's a lot of distractions out here. There's a lot of things that can get you caught up. But if you focus on what you want, set your goals, and act on them, then you can do anything that your heart desires, especially get out the matrix. And anybody in this space should have that same mindset. Now, I know there are some that are just here for entertainment purposes, but at the same time, you have to remember that it only takes a small few to change the course of everybody. And here at the Black Man's Option, we're a small few, but we are strong and we are diligent about our convictions for us to explore our options. Now, normally I'm up here. I usually have a bunch of people with me, fellow BMO brothers, guests, and whatnot. But tonight, it's just a point of reflection. You know, we had a BMO meetup in LA that was very successful. We were able to get brothers to come out in the Los Angeles area. We went to a Brazilian restaurant. We had a very good time. Had a very deep conversation about things concerning what everybody talks about, which is the state of black relationships. And it's the same old. And those men were tired of going through the process, thinking there's going to be some type of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or they think they have found the one, and they just come to the realization that there just aren't any. And we hear this type of stuff all the time, every time we do these meetups. And brothers are expressing how disheartened they are because they do want to be married and they do want to have that family structure, and they're just not able to obtain it here in the States. But I do want to say thank you for the people that did attend. We are structuring another one for DC, Atlanta, New York, Dallas, Houston, Charlotte, Orlando, and possibly Miami. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, please go in the links in the description box and join. We try to keep our stuff very private. We don't really do a bunch of advertising because we want to be a small knit group. We don't want to attract everybody. We only want a certain group of people to move with, because anybody that's been in this travel movement really understands you can't move with everybody. You got to vet who you're around, because the things that they do could turn into something that it could become an international incident, like the young lady in Dubai. And I'm not even going to speak on that because that's just not our realm. That's just not what we focus on here. We already know that goes on, and there's nothing you can do about it. As far as I'm concerned, it's self-correction. And as we're seeing that situation is going to correct itself, it's going to put the world on notice that women from our culture have no respect for anything. And if you can't get respect at home, then you're going to get respect someplace, and you're going to be accountable for it. So we're not going to dwell on that, and we're just going to move forward. But with that being said, if anybody has any questions at this time, please come up, put your hand up, or if you have something you want to say, come up and we have a conversation. But I think Obi's conversation speaks for itself. It was a great interview. I appreciate that, Hugh. And it was just something that we have been wanting to do. And I think a lot of people, they think that we are like a lot of the other groups and channels where we're here to bash women and all those other things. That's just not our format, and it's just not something that we want to focus on because we're at the point where we determined what the solution is. And we want to be like my man Obi-Wan. We want to be able to find someone from a different culture and start a family with them and explore their culture and get into their culture and start doing what we do best, which is shine. I mean, Obi, he learned how to speak English. He taught himself how to speak English. He speaks Spanish. He's learning German, and he speaks Portuguese. And his son is already learning how to speak 3 languages. That is just amazing. And his son has been to more countries than most people will ever get the chance to go to, and he's not even 5 years old yet. So he'll have such a better and more worldly view, something that we should be looking at to give our kids, especially our sons, so that they don't have a limited mindset and be stuck here in the matrix behind enemy lines. So I don't want to go too long. Like I said, I already talked an hour and 15 minutes with Obi earlier today. But I did want to give people a chance if they wanted to ask questions about Obi because it was pre-recorded. It wasn't live, so Obi couldn't answer the questions directly, the ones that were put in the chat. But if you are interested in a tour from the Favela Brothers, we have put a link in the description. There was a link pinned to the previous chat. You can go back and watch that. If not, you can get in contact with him on Instagram. You can just look up the Favela Brothers, and they will. It would come up. Got a picture of him and his brother, and you can contact him that way directly. Just remember that he is at the moment he is 8 hours ahead of us. So you may or may not get a quick response, but just know he will respond to you. Well, if we don't have any questions or whatnot, I am probably going to end this. Like I said, I just wanted to give people a chance to answer questions because we weren't live. That was a pre-recorded. So if anybody want to ask any questions, I just want to give them the opportunity to do so. But if not, then I'll just give you a preview of what's to come in the next couple of weeks for BMO. We do have, like I mentioned earlier, we do have scheduled BMO meetup events in several cities. If you're not a member of the group, please do so. Please join. Hold on for a second. Now, Hugh, I will tell you this, that Obi has doing those Favela tours for so many years, and we've done several with him, and people, they embrace you because a lot of people don't talk about the political and social structure of Brazil, and I don't want to get too in depth with it, but I will say this, that like Obi said, it's very inspirational to see black people, black American people, especially black American men, come to the favela. Because when we come, we're going to be who we are. We're going to be dressed up. We're going to have a certain air that we carry about ourselves. But at the same time, we're very humble because we know that this is not our home environment. We've had little kids come up. They want to talk to you. They just want to, see you because their idols are Americans because they don't have black idols in Brazil, at least not in the long run. They're just now starting to emerge and have that civil rights movement in their country. But for the longest time, a lot of the people that they look up to are Black Americans. So when you as a visitor are coming there in a tour group, they're very receptive of it, and you have to be respectful of it too. Plus, Obi does a wonderful job. He's going to take you to the places. The people are very warm. They're just like, like you going to the cookout, but it is very humbling and lets you know how blessed we are to be here in America. I will tell you that. The Favela tour is a very humbling tour, and people here don't know how good they've gotten it. And I suggest people go, when they go to Brazil, especially if they're going to Rio, and they do a tour with Obi, because a lot of things that we take for granted here are things that they don't. And it seems like they have less, and they're still a lot happier than being here in the Matrix. So it's an eye-opening experience. And I think a lot of people miss out on that. A lot of people just run to Rio, they run to Copacabana, and they go down there and they run around, and they chase Bunda, and they think that's it. But BMO, we like to explore the entirety of where you're going to be at, because we're looking for some place to be long term. And chasing ass cannot just be your long-term goal. If that's all you're going there for, then you don't need to take the tour. It's cool to go see different things and have a different perspective, but there's more to it than that. And there's only a small percentage of people that are actually talking about that. Most of the content that's out there, it only revolves around a certain type of content. But for us, we've been doing this for so long, it's like a one-trick pony. We want to give people more. But for the most part, most people don't want to hear that, but we don't care, because we're going to attract the people that really want to experience something and have an opportunity to change their life the way Obi changed his. Yeah, definitely. Obi is another success story. Another success story. He is definitely somebody that we, like I said, valued a lot, just because of the relationship that we have. Oh, Hugh, man, look, man, anytime. And if you look at us, that's just what we're about. It really is. Because I think at some point in time, you can only chase titties and ass for so long. You can only sell the Jay-Z big pimping video dreams for so long. At some point in time, you have to get back to reality. Because like you saw or heard what Obi said in the interview, he says, one thing to be a visitor in a country. People view you a different way as a tourist. It's another when you're in the country and you're part of the community. Now they look at you like you're going to have to be there. You're going to have to speak our language. You're going to have to get in line. We're not catering to you because now you're here. And that is the way that we approach things, for people to be places long term and to be here. And I think that doesn't get talked about enough, because there's pros and cons to everything. But at the same time, if you get an honest perspective from people that have been there outside of the women, and you talk about the culture, the food, the amenities, the cost of living there, the viability of health care, things like that are never really discussed, not in mass anyway. But those are things that we want to focus on, because they're going to help you make a better decision on where you choose to decide to lay your head. So well, all right. Well, I will tell you this, man. Hey, Hugh, man, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Only thing we can do is like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We have been doing good numbers, but at the same time, You know, we're not steadily showing tits and ass and talking about women and black women this or white women that or Western women this or that. You know, our focus is that we've been there, done that. And our Charles Tyler series, Charles Tyler Speaks, is why we're reposting his stuff, because we want to show people that this conversation has already been had for us. Some of those conversations that Charles had were almost 8-9 years ago, and they sound like he recorded them just yesterday. And nothing has changed. And actually, it has gotten worse. So at what point do you say enough is enough and you just make your move? And that's just the way that we feel about it here at BMO. So, but I'm glad that you enjoy our fantastic resource. We have more resources. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, please join the Facebook group. Follow us on TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And we're here every Sunday night. And we have some more stuff coming up. Like I said, we have, we're about to finish off our Thailand content. We still have a couple more videos that we're going to be dropping for the Thailand content. We're going to have realtor entrepreneurs that are in Thailand that come on and speak. We may have to do a pre-recorded show because they're actually 12 hours ahead of us. So unless I can be able to catch them in the morning, we'll have to work that out. And then once that happens, then we're going to start talking about our South Africa trip. We're going to start focusing on the continent. We think that the continent is someplace where a lot of people outside of this black men travel movement are not focusing on. And we want to explore that as well. We have an upcoming event, networking event in November that has sold out. And I want to thank all 30 plus people that are going to that. That's going to be exciting for us, and we'll be doing some big things. We got Coach Grease. Grease is working on his material. He will be giving updates on that. And then just overall major announcement that we're going to have moving forward. So we want to end 2023 on a strong send-off, and then head into 2024 ready to get right back into it and run this race. And you are right, Charles was so ahead of his time. He definitely was. So okay, well, I see nobody wants to come on. I will end this. But I do appreciate everybody that attended the pre-recording. That is probably going to be a format that we're going to have to use because some of the people that we want to interview are just not in our time zone and our schedules don't line up. If you like that format, please let us know. If you got some feedback, let us know too. I think it worked out pretty good. Just a lot of other people on at the same time, so or maybe we can work something out better. But with that being said, look forward to next week. We're working with hopefully we'll have a realtor from Thailand to talk to you about the cost of living, buying a property in Thailand, pros and cons, and just what it takes to actually move and retire to Thailand. And maybe open a business and whatnot. So with that being said, gentlemen, y'all have a good night. I got my co-pilot over here, Jamel around the world. Go ahead, take us out, brother.
Everybody in here was picked, selected, chosen. You are a difference maker. You are special. You are somebody. You're a conduit of change. And that's what we're going to do, change things. I don't know if y'all know it, but we're going to win. I don't know if you feel it, but we're going to win. I don't know if you can see it, but we're going to win. You got to understand we're going to win right now, not later, right now. Everybody in here is a change agent. We could go down the line and every last one of you have a story how you provoke change wherever you've been in some form or fashion. It ain't no normal guys in here. Everybody's been through something, they come out of it, but you changed the game wherever you've been. Am I right or wrong? You just got to believe. I believe it. You got to believe it.
This is Charles Tyler over at the Black Man's Option. Remember, I showed you the door. Only you can walk through it. Let's see what the world is all about. Charles Tyler, sign off for the Black Man's Option. Check y'all later.